Darkness. Then pain. Then the sensation of cold cement against his cheek. Akaashi opened his eyes slowly. It took too long to orient himself. The room was dimly lit, maybe a single bulb, flickering near the ceiling. No windows. The air was stale, tinged with something acrid and metallic. His wrists ached. His mouth was dry. His head pounded with every breath. He was tied to a chair. The realization came in pieces. Sharp, jagged. He tested his limbs. Ankles bound. Wrists behind his back, secured too tightly. Rope, not plastic. Cheap. Rough. Memory began to crawl back in. The street. The figure behind him. A prick at his neck. Then the ground rushing up to meet him. And now. Akaashi exhaled slowly. Deliberately. He was alive. That was the first thing. And it mattered. The door creaked open. A man stepped in, same hood from before, face half in shadow. He was tall, thin, pale under the flickering light. Clean shaven. Too calm. He carried a camera in one hand, already recording. "Good morning, sunshine," he said, grinning like they were old friends. Akaashi didn't respond. "You're very popular," the man continued, walking a slow circle around him. "Even now. They're already panicking. Especially Kenma. Thought you'd like to know." Akaashi's pulse skipped. He kept his face blank. "Why are you doing this?" The man smiled wider. "Because people don't change, Akaashi. They forget. They drift. But you were his weakness. You broke him." His voice sharpened suddenly, face twitching with something bitter. "You made him soft. You took him away from us. I didn't take anything. Kenma's not an object. He made his own choice." The man leaned in close, inches from his face. "You say that like you matter." Then, he struck him again. Akaashi's head snapped sideways. His cheek flared hot, skin splitting anew. His vision swam, but he didn't cry out. He would not give him that. Time passed, hours, maybe. The man came and went. Brought him water once. No food. He didn't speak again. Not yet. Just watched him. Akaashi kept count of every time the door opened and closed. Every time the camera light blinked on and off. Every click of the bulb. He memorized everything. It gave him something to do. Something to hold on to. Sometime during what he assumed was the second day, the man came in holding a phone. "You'll want to watch this." He set the phone down on a crate a few feet away and angled the screen toward Akaashi. He tapped it once. The call connected. Akaashi blinked as the screen lit up with familiar faces, distorted at first by the angle, then snapping into sharp, heart-wrenching clarity. Kenma, Kuru, Bakuto, all of them staring at him. Kenma's eyes wide, jaw clenched. Bakuto was half off camera, shoulders heaving. Kuru's expression was frozen in something far colder than anger. And then the man turned the camera to himself, voice low and mocking. "Thought you'd like to see your hero squad." He turned the lens back to Akaashi, then stepped behind him, hand gripping his hair roughly. "You said you didn't take anything." The man whispered just off camera. "Let's see what they think." He struck him. Hard. The slap rang out across the call like a gunshot. Akaashi's head jerked sideways, blood from his split lip hitting the floor. He tasted iron and static. Kenma's scream was immediate. Raw. Guttural. Bakuto yelled rather than said something. But Akaashi couldn't make sense of anything with his heart drumming loud in his ear. Kuru stepped forward holding Bakuto back from shattering the device, yet the look in his fuming eyes was clear. "You're going to regret that. I swear to God, I will bury you." The kidnapper laughed, unbothered. "Pleased. See how they break for you. See how weak you've made them." He leaned toward the camera, eyes wild. "This is just the beginning." Then the feed cut. Silence. Akaashi sat in the aftermath, ears ringing. His cheek burned. His vision blurred. But he was still breathing. Still there. And the last thing he saw before the call ended was Kenma's face, twisted with something worse than rage. Determination. The man left in a hurry, probably too satisfied with his cruelty, too wrapped up in whatever performance he thought he was crafting. But this time, he made a mistake. He stayed in the room for a few minutes longer than usual, back turned to Akaashi, crouched on the other side near the door with the burner phone in hand. He was muttering to himself, something about timing uploads, dropping content, and teasing the Golden Boy's little lapdogs. The phone's camera light blinked once. Then again. Then stopped. Akaashi's pulse surged. The phone was recording. It was pointed at nothing, just the wall. Maybe the floor. Maybe static. But the mic was on. Akaashi kept his face forward, still aching, still burning, but he let his lips part just slightly. And he began to hum. Quietly. Gently. That same 8-bit melody, glitched and imperfect from Kenma's earliest stream. His voice barely registered, but he hoped it was enough. The man didn't notice. He was too busy uploading. Later, when the door shut and the lock clicked again, Akaashi let himself lean back in the chair. The ropes burned into his wrists. But a tiny thread of hope flickered in his chest. If Kenma heard it, if anyone could find meaning in static and silence, it would be him. He dreamed of warm arms around him. Kenma's fingers in his hair. Kuru's voice low and steady, muttering facts that didn't matter just to fill the silence. Bakuto's hand on his chest, his heartbeat always too loud, too honest. He dreamed of safety. And when he woke, he wasn't shaking anymore. Part 6 coming soon. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and hit that like button. See you in the next one.